What if you couldn't hear the sound of the falling rain, your favorite music, or the voice of your loved ones? Welcome to my world. I'm deaf. Welcome to Ways to Human. My name is AJ. Did you know July is Disability Pride Month? When I was a kid, my teachers and family thought that I was just shy because I didn't speak much, and when I did, it was in whispers. I wouldn't watch TV, I would just walk away because it seemed boring to me to just look at images. When my mom started to suspect that I had hearing loss, my doctors didn't believe her. This delayed my diagnosis until I was around 10 years old. Before I understood that I couldn't hear, I thought that everybody experienced the world the same way that I did. Growing up in a hearing world was not easy. When I moved to the US at age 15 from rural Argentina, I was put into a hearing school. My experience there was extremely challenging. Between trying to understand the teachers and trying to socialize with hearing students, it was brutal, especially given that I was still learning a completely new language. It was a full-time job. I didn't know anybody that was deaf, and I didn't know sign language either. I was isolated, and I spent most of my high school years hiding in the library, drowning in books. But my mind was full of ideas and with so much to say. But I felt trapped. I felt silenced by my inability to hear and to fit in the world around me. Because of my lack of hearing, I chose to remain to myself. I chose to stay silent, especially in group settings, out of fear that I couldn't understand what others were telling me. I felt embarrassed by my socializing skills. People would get frustrated because I couldn't hear or because I kept asking them to repeat themselves. People often spoke over me as well. I'm guessing it was because my voice was very low, so I felt trapped inside my mind. It wasn't until 7 years ago, when I got my cochlear implant, that my life changed. But it has been an extremely long process, having to get my brain to understand the sounds that I had never heard before in my life and to make new connections, while simultaneously rehabilitating my language skills and improving my pronunciation. It's like learning to speak all over again. This helped me interact a lot more and to realize that my voice and what I have to say matters too. Now I want to use my voice to help the voiceless, those who have to hide because of the LGBTQ hate, or those who have disabilities, those who are trapped in a religion they don't want to be a part of. I want to help others find their voice the way I did. So, what is it like being deaf? I learned Spanish growing up before my hearing was gone, so my Spanish is decent. But I learned English after losing most of my hearing. When I started learning it, I was using only a hearing aid, which amplified muffled sounds. Hearing loss sounds like this.
Hearing loss sounds like this.
I had about 15% hearing at the time, so imagine only understanding 15% of an entire conversation, and even less in group settings. While learning English, I was not able to tell the difference between the letters S or F unless I was looking at somebody's face. Or I had no idea that the letter T and the letter TH had different sounds. So unless I was reading lips, it was very hard to understand people. There's issues with other letters and pronunciations as well, like sh and ch. This is the reason why you may have noticed I have a very distinct accent, and I often mispronounce words. I am still learning. When asking someone to repeat themselves, I will often be ignored or told, never mind, as if it wasn't worth their time to repeat something for me. So if there's something that I can suggest to you that you can do to be more inclusive of deaf people is to be patient. Repeat when needed. Use a louder tone, or even different wording sometimes can help. Make sure you're pronouncing your words clearly. And the most important, face the person that you're talking to, because us deaf people read lips. If you have music on, please turn it off or turn it down a little bit. In my case, when there is music going on and voices, the microphone in my cochlear implant picks up both of these sounds at the same level, so I cannot distinguish the music from the voices. This makes it really hard in restaurant settings. Disability Pride Month doesn't mean being happy or excited or glad that I am deaf. It means acknowledging that some days it fucking sucks, but it's part of who I am, and I am done feeling ashamed and limited by it. I know that the world is made for hearing people, and I don't expect the world to change for me. But I do expect the world to adjust and allow access for every disabled person to be a part of that world. Going to the movies, having lunch in a loud restaurant, going to concerts, shows, going to a bar, hearing a speech, and so many other things are off limits to us. We cannot hear very well in those settings, and most hearing people don't use sign language. So just like wheelchair ramps help disabled people access buildings, teaching sign language in schools would be a great way to give deaf people the access that they need for education and for socialization. While the deaf community is filled with incredibly amazing people, there is sort of a gray area for someone like me, someone who is not deaf enough to be a part of the deaf community and is not hearing enough to be a part of the hearing world. There shouldn't be three worlds. There should be one world. And this applies to every disability, not just deaf people. We need to work harder to combine these worlds. This is what Disability Pride Month is all about, bringing awareness and solutions. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe.